A very good evening to one and all. After rigorous sessions of discussion, debates, deliberations for the past 2 days, I welcome all of you to the valedictory session of the International Conference on Technology-Enabled Online and Distance Learning for Education in the context of New Education Policy 2020. First, I humbly request all the dignitaries to take their respective places on the dais, please. I extend a hearty welcome to the chief guests of this evening, Professor S. Gauri, Honorable Vice Chancellor, University of Madras, Chennai, who will be joining us through hybrid mode online. Our guest of honor, Reverend Father Dr. Joji Reddy, Principal, Loyola Academy, Secunderabad, who have taken their precious time out to join us for this session this evening. I also welcome the other dignitaries on the dais, Professor Tarani Karasu, Director of Studies, Pondicherry University, Professor Rajiv Jain, Director of Culture and Cultural Relations, Pondicherry University, our dynamic organizing team, Professor C.K. Ramaiah, Director, DDE, and Professor Siva Satya, Head, Department of Computer Science, Pondicherry University. Along with this, I extend a warm welcome to all the other deans, HODs, faculty members, research scholars, students, and non-teaching staff present in this session today. We take great pride in honoring our guests on the dais. For that, first I would like to invite Professor C.K. Ramaiah to present a memento, shawl, and a bouquet to Professor Tarani Karasu. I am sure all the participants, delegates, dignitaries have had a wonderful and fruitful time discussing, deliberating on issues related to technology, pedagogy, online and distance learning. I would now request Professor C. Aruna, Head, Department of Sociology, to present an elaborate report on the conference.
Good evening to one and all. I understand you had a very fruitful discussions, and as a result we have a voluminous record of the discussions that we had, but I think for paucity of time I would keep it short, but even then I kindly request you to bear with me if it's a little lengthy. Thank you. This international conference on technology-enabled online and distance education, distance learning for education, the context of NEP 2020 began with an inaugural ceremony, and Director Professor Ramaiah welcomed the gathering and highlighted the distinct service of DDE in offering high-quality education, low fee structure, and access to latest information. Coinciding with the Silver Jubilee celebrations, the conference was organized to engage in a student-friendly, student-centered learning, streamline the work structure, and provide a productive virtual learning environment. Keeping in view with the NEP recommendations, the scope of the conference is anchored to recognize and absorb the ICT tools for effective content delivery and assessment in education. The chief guest of the day, Dr. Shankara Narayana Swamy, Director, National Institute of Technology, Karaikal, appreciated the apt timing of the conference in the changing scenario of education and its potential to blend well with the NEP objectives. Recalling his pioneering experience in online teaching, He exemplified the need for a blended mode and a strategy to move forward. He also mentioned that online educational technology is a new research area and the conference would be the facilitating link. He also shared his experience in the implementation of NEP in technical institutions. Later, Professor Chitralekha, Dean School of Engineering and Technology, thanked the gathering, and she also noted the relevance of ICT in teaching and its application in distance education. So with that, we move on to the technical sessions. The technical session for day one began with a keynote address by Dr. Chitra Balakrishna, cybersecurity program leader, on our games on the new book, and shared her experience and experiments in cybersecurity education. We had 7 technical sessions, and we had more than 40 productive papers. In session 1, which was chaired by Dr. Praveen Durai, Head Department of Commerce at St. Joseph College, Trichy. The session had a lead paper by Professor Shanti Tilagam on open education, teaching and learning in the digital age. The paper was followed by several important papers which related to the analysis on education before and after lockdown, and also within the context of India, and also the impact of knowledge graph, mobile application for online quizzing, and so on. So there were a number of important papers, and to add on to it, I would definitely highlight on the important paper that is text-to-image translation and a focus on accessibility of e-learning platforms for learners with disabilities. Which is very important, and there were many such papers over the days, over the 2-day deliberations. The second technical session, which was chaired by Dr. Alex, Dean of Studies and HOD at St. Joseph's College, Cuddalore. We had a keynote address by Dr. Vijay Kumar, Dean's School of Computers and Systems at JNU. He spoke on the artificial intelligence for education and detailed the features and the paradigm shift. Well, it's a 5th generation technology, so for many of us it is new, but I think, this is a very key area which I'm sure the computer science professionals also would agree and had appreciated the talk well. So we also had several important papers in the session, which also included the non-fungible tokens, which focused on the marketplace for educational content, and also another interesting paper on voice assistant for visually impaired. The main objective was to provide an experience of all the functionalities to the visually challenged with regard to the online learning. So there were many such papers, and also another important paper focused on the blockchain technology in education and also the application. And there were also papers related to digital enhancements for progressive pedagogy, and also a paper on LMS framework, and so on. On day 2, with that we ended the day 1 sessions, and it was a very, very productive day. On day 2, we had the 3rd session, wherein we had Dr. Kanishka chairing the session. And the keynote speaker there was Professor Chelle Perumal. Today it was Professor Chelle Perumal, who is a well-known anthropologist, who also spoke on the use of virtual ethnography in distance education, which is a less touched upon area, and I'm sure this was eye-opener for many of the social scientists as well. So he did touch upon the digital ethnography, the cyber ethnography, ethnography, and so on. It was very interesting. The session also covered several topics such as the survey. Following that, we had several papers, and there were papers on survey on acceptance rate of digital learning in India, effect of e-learning during the COVID pandemic, which is all very recent, current, and important. And these were from the perspective of the students as well as the teachers. We also had a paper on innovative distance learning strategies, and I'm sure the distance education is very much impressed with that, and which focused on web-based learning, training, virtual laboratories, which again is something, a trial, which is an important trial for many of us. A paper on effectiveness of differentiated, learning, especially for school children, was presented, which was also very interesting. Later on the day, we had, at the same time, we had a parallel online session, which was organized, and this was chaired by Professor Kritika Kritika, head of the Department of Statistics. The papers also related to many of the important areas, which included the online tool for collaborative assessment which is important, especially when we are using the SAMs. We find that the collaborative assessment is a very important one. We also have the we also had papers on predictive analytics, on student performance, effective teaching learning process, using the innovative techniques, surveys on learning approaches, and building a game for dysgraphia detection in classrooms, which is very important. I think the conference had touched upon very important and also new areas, which is very timely and important. We now also move on to session 5, which was chaired by Father Joy Rodrigues, a director, St. Joseph's College, Bangalore, and catching up the recent trends. The session and the papers focused on MOOC as a future of online and distance education. Also, the papers focused on simplifying distance learning, and through many of the the terminologies that I think we from other departments have difficulty in indicating. But then, yes, the named entity recognition tools, etc., and also the prediction of students' adaptability level in online education, a review of virtual reality and augmented reality tools for online and distance education. Also, the effect of WhatsApp messenger on academic achievement. So all of this have been in the use in the last few years, and I'm sure this has given us very good information. These papers have also given an impact assessment of all these as well. Another important paper focused on the job fair for distance education of Pondicherry University, which is a very distinct experience, and I'm sure I think all of us are proud of that. And the impact was with regard to the employability and the skill development over the period, even in a distance mode, which is very, very appreciable. I think this is something that's very special to Pondicherry University Directorate of Distance Education. Also, we had the session 6, which was chaired by Dr. Prasanna Venkatesan, Professor, Department of Banking Technology. The papers covered a wide array of topics, just analysis of 3D learning, also quantitative analysis of online and distance learning, using then also the adaptive learning system for online and distance education, and so on. And it also focused on certain techniques like the chatbots, and also the cybersecurity challenges, which is an issue which need to be addressed, and we had all experienced in the last few years as when we were getting into this mode. And the last and the final session, that is the seventh session of the day, was and also of the conference, was chaired by Dr. M.G. Raghunathan, Principal, Guru Nanak College, Chennai. And the keynote speakers of the session were Professor G. Aguilar, Director of NIT Trichy, and who spoke on ICT in pedagogy, a servant or a partner, and which was also a very, very interesting paper and highly appreciated paper. Later, we also had, and these were online presentations, and we also had Professor Venkat Shastri, another keynote speaker, who was also the head of the group Applied Mathematics and Scientific Computing, Cranfield University, UK, who gave a very most wanted talk on the thoughts of e-assessment. I think that was touched upon right at the inaugural ceremony, and I think we had a lot of inputs there. Later, in that particular session too, we had paper presenters giving a review of the automatic question paper generator based on artificial intelligence, and the role of ICT in teaching learning in a foreign language, performance evaluation, and so on. And later, we also had an evaluation study of Pondicherry University Directorate of Distance Education, wherein we had a paper presented on these students' feedback, which is something which I think it's a very, very important exercise, and I think kudos to the Directorate for getting up into that exercise, and thank you, sir, for that. In total, the conference had a wide variety of topics combining the technology-enabled learning, the pedagogy, and the assessment. I would say that there were a lot of takeaways for all the stakeholders, and I'm sure all of them are quite contented with that. The congregation and the discussions did prompt many new thoughts and very many practical applications. So I definitely feel the whole process was a very successful exercise, and I thank the Computer Science Department and Directorate of Distance Education for jointly organizing this event. I would also like to thank all the rapporteurs here who were very much important in compiling this information. I would like to thank Dr. J. Krishna Priya, Dr. M. Nandini, Dr. S.V. Jaikumar, Dr. S. L. Jayalakshmi, and Dr. Reshmi for making all these efforts. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Aruna, for your detailed report. Her report clearly shows how the conference was a huge success, in which there were deliberations, discussions on varied subjects and issues. I would now like to invite the organizer of the conference, Professor C.K. Ramaiah, to say a few words on the conference.
Good afternoon to all. First of all, I would like to thank and also invite the chief guest of the conference, who is an online, Professor S. Gauriji, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Madras University, and Professor Tarunakarsi, Director, Studies, Professor Rajiv Jain, Director, Culture and Cultural Relations, Reverend Father Dr. L. Jojireddy, Principal, Andhra, Laila Academy, Secunderabad, and Professor Vijay Kumar from JNU, and Professor Sivasatya, Joint Organizing Secretary. And the conference, all the participants, the organizing committee members, conference participants, guests, invitees, 7 keynote speakers from India and abroad, Dean, HODs, officers of the Pondicherry University, faculty members, scholars, students and media colleagues, and all those assembled here for the valedictory function. Namaskar, Vanakkam, and good morning, good afternoon. Technology has actually impacted almost every aspect of life, and education is not actually no exception. If you say the scenario, the yesterday's scenario, teachers used to teach, students used to take the notes. And today also we are teaching the same, but today's students are like what they do. In addition to taking notes, they will be taking notes actually using the electronic gadgets. They will be using the mobile, they will be using the laptop, they will be using actually various kind of actually the other electronic gadgets to capture the information whatever we are. And it means actually the technology has taken place in actually in teaching process. So technology has actually profoundly changed the education and expanded the access to education. So if you see the medieval times, the books were the rare and the elite group of people actually will have the education system. Whereas today, the massive amount of information is available because of internet invention, and including the books, the audio, images, video content, plenty of available on the fingertips of the people, of course. And in addition to that, there are actually many sources which actually provide the teaching materials like the Khan Academy, MOOCs, podcasts, traditional online degree program, many more actually which are available freely, open and open access manner. So access to the learning opportunities today is unprecedented in scope thanks to the ICT technology available for the teaching purpose. So opportunities for the communication and collaboration have been expanded by technology. Traditionally, classrooms have been relatively isolated and collaboration has been limited to other students in the same classroom or building. Today, technology enabled the forms of communication and collaboration undreamed of in the past. So if you see, the technology has begun to change the roles of the teacher and learner. In traditional classroom, the teacher is primarily a source of information. And in today's context, because of access of information and educational opportunities that actually the technology has enabled, the teacher's role is actually shifted from dictator, who used to give the notes dictation, to now has become facilitator, instructor, guide, mentor. The role is totally changed, of course. So technology is a powerful tool that can support and transform education in many ways, and making it easier for teachers to create instructional material to enabling the new ways for people to learn and work together. So the last 2 days we had about 40 papers, 7 keynote presentations, 2 industrial presentations, of course, covering almost all aspects of the technology-enabled education, of course. And if you see actually the benefits of the technology-enabled education, of course, immersive learning, which is actually coming up here. There are many technologies which are coming up. Gaming games are used actually tools for teaching, of course, access to long and distance learning process, personalized education experience, student preferences, and blended learning, and engaged learning, or many more actually the advantage. So what I've seen actually today morning, I thought of seeing actually some of the top universities who are actually playing in distance education, non-language education. What I've seen actually, when I looked into the top 10 universities in the world who are actually offering distance education, University of Manchester on the top, and the University of Florida, and the University College of London, University of Liverpool, Boston University, Columbia, the University of Pretoria, University of Southern Queensland, and Charles Sturt University, Georgia Institute of Technology. So these are all, some of them, they're pretty old actually. They're really offering it, and we should also try, of course. And there are a good number of universities are offering online degrees, not one or two, big number, of course. For example, University of College London, 12 full online program, and some are like actually the John Hopkins University, 88 program. Like that, actually, many universities actually they slightly moved actually from regular to the online. The trend is like that. And I have a small experience which I would like to share actually. When I was teaching in Nanyang Technological University, I joined in Nanyang Technological University in 1999. Year 1908, November 98, actually they started a program called the SMA, Singapore, this MIT Alliance program. This is actually Singapore country, they signed MOU with MIT to deliver actually program. So what they did actually, they have actually 5 important actually engineering programs which are actually advanced materials for micro and nano systems, chemical and pharmaceutical engineering, computation system biology, computational engineering, manufacturing systems and technology. These are the 5 programs they used to organize, they used to actually offer. And that time the MIT faculties, people used to give the offer from Boston, and the students actually who are in the NUS and NTU used to attend the classes. And they spent actually almost, I forgot actually, $7 to $11 million they spent actually building the smart classroom. I'm talking about 20 years back, not now. Now actually the technology has gone up, the cost has come down, and it is affordable. Any university, any college is able to actually do that, of course. So now this is actually the scenario. In this scenario, and we also would like to, the distance education we are offering about 20 programs. We would like to slowly move, the Pondicherry University to move and adapt actually use those programs so that we'll be able to actually give the quality education to the distance student. In this context, actually we have organized, and in this actually the first conference we did actually with the School of Education, which we looked into the educational aspect of it. The second one actually we tried to look into the application part of it, IT and ICT application. Because of that, we actually collaborated with the Department of Computer Science, and really I'm really grateful to the department and particularly the members who are all actually all the 3 madams who are actually involved in this conference. And the conference actually come up in very nice manner, of course. I would like to thank all the organizing, the committee members particularly, who actually contributed actually greatly to come up. And then the volume, of course, after the conference will be bringing out, of course. If you see both the conferences, that conference, of course, I should not say compare, but it is everybody who have seen actually, for example, Director Studies, sir, he has seen actually both. That conference, actually, it is something like decoratically it was really good because 3 vice chancellors were on the same this one floor, of course. But here, actually, this content-wise, this conference is much better, of course. The papers and all, that I can clearly see, of course. So let's hope, of course, we need to bring out the books because these books are to the university. It is not for us, of course. Our job is to actually get the intellectual content to the university. We would like to. So at this stage, actually, I would like to thank all the organizing committee members who are involved, and also I would like to thank the chief guest who has, though he was busy because tomorrow he is having actually meeting, early morning he is having actually, because of that he could not make it. And I thank you very much, sir, for joining on online and actually going to give your chief guest actually the deliberations. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir, for your concise presentation of the conference. As teachers, learners, and educators ourselves, we are all aware of the importance of feedback and how that can contribute to rethinking of our own pedagogical strategies. Keeping that in mind, I would invite now Dr. Punita to ask some participants of the conference to share their experiences with us.
So everything was arranged so seamlessly by the committee members, and I hope we didn't face any hustle bustle over here. So all the schedule was given in hand to us. We were able to know when and where our opportunity was given and thing. And I should also thank the chairpersons for giving us allotted time and reminding us when to finish and all those things. And the feedback from them was really helpful. And I should also thank the food committee. Also, the food was really nice. And apart from that, and this is my actually joining PhD. This is my third conference I am attending. The first two conferences were in online mode, so not even hybrid option was given over that. But this is my first conference attending as in offline mode. So I am very much grateful that it was in our university, conducted by both the Directorate of Distance Education and Department of Computer Science. So thank you all. Thank you all the organizers and faculty members for arranging us and giving us such beautiful opportunity to expose and showcase our research papers over here. Thank you.
Good evening everyone. I am Shweta, pursuing my MTech in NIS. So overall it was a very knowledgeable conference. This is my first conference I am attending. Starting with, it has given an opportunity for all the international and national participants and the keynote speakers to share their views, and also given us the opportunity to know, to get the exposure, what are their insights on the same domain of online and distance learning. So with that, one more thing I would like to add is, we are supporting an online and distance education. With that, when we involve the international speakers to join us on a hybrid mode, so it also enhances the same topic. On the other hand, we are encouraging the same topic by allowing the international speakers to say, and also it gave us opportunity to know what are their views, and also helped us know what are the area of research we can further follow. Coming to the organizers and other team members, those who have organized this session, it was very good session and properly managed. Thank you so much, and last but not the least, it could have been extended to one more day so that every participants would have given some time to express their thoughts and presentation. That's it for today. Thank you.
Now it's time for other gender to give the feedback. So I call Mr. Renu from MTech.
Thank you everyone for giving this opportunity. As a hostler, I would always start with the food. The food is really good. It made us active all over the session over 2 days. And the first keynote speaking on gamified education. And we didn't know that as a part of our curriculum, we completed the course also. After coming here, we got to know that. And computer science and distance education, this always goes together. So without all this technology, there is no distance education. So it's a good thing that two departments are organizing together. It was really nice, and we got to know, and the exposure we got in here is really awesome with all other university people, and learning assessments and the new methods, everything that we expose here, and give a new spark of thought, where we can focus on distance education, being in computer science also. It's a really great opportunity, and not last but least, cultural event was really blast. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Renu. Now, as the last one, I would like to call Ms. Jayakodi, Research Scholar of Computer Science Department.
Good evening to everyone. I wish to thank the organizers, distance education, as well as the Department of Computer Science, to organize a very good international conference. 2 days we had a very nice time. And even though I had attended many conferences as a staff, so this is my first offline international conference as a student level. So I have really enjoyed a lot as a student. and we also got a very good opportunity to present our papers, and also the papers are covered from how that mobile apps help for the education as well as the various current research areas, as well as we had yesterday a very nice session about how games can be useful for internet education as well as the big data and so on. Really we enjoyed, as well as unexpectedly when we opened that toolkit, we also got a very good memento. Really we enjoyed that memento, sir. It will be keep on remembering that Pondicherry University as well as distance education and computer science department. Thanks a lot.
I would now like to call upon Professor K. Tarani Karasu, our Director of Studies, to address the gathering.
Respected Professor Rajiv Jain, OSDC and CR, and Professor C.K. Ramaya, Organizing Secretary and Director of DDE, and Professor S. Gauri, Honorable Vice Chancellor, who is on virtual mode, and Professor Jay Kumar from JNU, and Reverend Father Dr. L. Joji Reddy, SJ, Principal, Loyola Academy, Secunderabad, and Dean of the Computer Science, Sitarleka, and then all the faculty members, and Professor S. Satya, Joint Organizing Secretary and Head of Department of Computer Science, and Professor Aruna, and other faculty members from the Computer Science as well as DDE, and all the delegates, so who are all enriching this conference, international conference. Good afternoon, everyone. So I am happy to see the people are sitting here. Generally, the valedictory function means there will be a lot of the prizes. So who is going to win prize? And because of this, I used to see many people who are waiting, but I could not see any prize here. But still, people are here. So that shows they are very interested to learn what is going on really until the end. So when you see the title itself, the technology enabled online and digital learning for education, so you must be knowing the importance, the bringing the DDE and computer science. I should thank Professor Ramaya for this. So a few days ago he also organized education and DDE also. I also attended this function. It was also widely accepted and widely received. So I thank Professor Ramaya for this initiative and organizing this international conference. Now, because of the only one thing which is very positive about the pandemic is the virtual mode. So now earlier, it is only in papers. So whether to go for online or offline, now even people are conducting the PhD viavas in online because everything is very comfortable. So in that way, I think many international resource persons could be able to share their knowledge on the technology related online and distance learning. So in that way, I think the delegates would have benefited more. And I request that whoever attended, they take these contact details and keep in touch with them so that it will be very useful. So when it takes the conferences, so just 2 days before I attended inaugurated the bioinformatics also conference. There also I could see computers. Today also 2 days ago they started discussing about computers. So the computers is very, we cannot avoid these days. So now earlier we were thinking that, I think the famous writer, they used to say, Bernard Shaw, this idiot box. But now it is no more. It is keep on expanding their boundary. Even if we want to avoid, we cannot avoid. People say we should not stay the screen time, all those things, we have to reduce all. But still, we are not able to get away from this, and we are keep on depending on this. So we can't avoid this. The population also increasing, and now it is very difficult to avoid this. In that aspect, this type of the conferences are very important. Even when I visited recently to USA for our LEAP program, there they showed us how how the driverless car can get certification. Because we are in India, it is not so far, we don't have any standard procedure to get the certification. So in the University of Michigan, they have a facility. So driverless car, how we can give the certification, they started. Again, these computers. So how computer can, virtually they can run the driverless car. So in that aspect, we are in India, we are still, even though we are very good, the force, that is the number of computer science people who are coming out, they are in, they say the back door, they are very good support to the whatever the world needs, they are supporting. But still, so the when it takes the leaders, when it takes the leaders from the initiative, but now we are picking up, but we have a lot to do for the vaccines we have done in the biotechnology, but in computer science we have a lot of things to do. And in the onset of NEP, there are many courses which is possible, and the computer science department and the dean have a lot of role to play to initiate and run many short-term courses, certificate courses, so that the skill development will be very useful. So the other day, our Chitralaga madam also come out with the Coursera online courses. Whatever they teach, it is not sufficient to get the job. So the students are taking the online courses to get the job also. So that shows how fast this field is, how fast it is growing, and our faculty member itself is not able to feed them, feed the whatever the companies they require. Even the other day, there was a NGO, they contacted me. They want to start the center here. It is to start the skill development center, where it is not only the software, it is how to train the ethical hacking. Physically, they want to start the center, and even 2-day training or 1 week training, 1 month training, industry needs now. Whereas the cyber ethical hacking, but people are very less now in this field. So when we say hacking, everyone they afraid of this. But the ethical hacking is very much needed to safeguard any cyber attack. So our computer science being the central university, so we have more role to play, and in this aspect, these conferences are very important. So I request all the delegates, take this seriously, take the contacts of all the resource person. Professor Vijay Kumar is here. Yeah. So you can keep in touch with him also, like this resource person. So we have interaction in the selection committee, that's why we come to know here, and he visited us. So I request all the delegates to keep in touch with the resource person, and there are a lot of things to, in chemistry we used to say, I am basically chemistry professor, we used to say it is, even though we started in 1800 something, but still it is a budding chemistry. But when you take computer science, it is, I cannot say it is very womb stage, I can say. There are a lot of things to be done in computer science. You are all very happy, and you should be happy, and you should be thankful to the computer science also. Of course, we should also thank our DDE section for taking this initiative and bringing the very good book out of this. So with these few words, I thank the organizers for inviting me, and it is a long list, so I would like to finish this. Thank you one and all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your felicitation address, and also for reiterating the fact that however skeptical the old school people might be about technology, it has invaded us in ways that we better embrace it with an open mind. Thank you also, sir, for your continued support to all the departments of the university. That is very encouraging to all of us. I would now call upon Professor Rajiv Jain, Director of Culture and Culture Studies at our university, to address the gathering.
Professor Tharnikarsu, Director Studies, and today is also officiating Vice Chancellor. Professor S. Gauri, Chief Guest of the session, Vice Chancellor, University of Madras, Chennai. Guest of Honor, Revered Father, Dr. Reddy, Principal Loyola Academy, Sikandrabad. Professor Ramaiya, Organizing Secretary and Director, Directorate of Distance Education. Professor Aruna, Head Department of Sociology. Professor Shiva Satya, Joint Organizing Secretary and Head. Professor Chitrilekha, Dean, School of Computer Sciences. Professor Gupta, Professor Ritu, Professor Vijay Kumar, who has come from JNU, Dean, School of Computer Sciences. Participants, here my colleagues, it is my pleasure to be here, to be one of the, maybe considered as participant in this very timely organized conference on technology enabled online and distance learning for education. This is timely organized, and I will call it not a distance education. In my view, it should be online education. Now the terminology has changed. If we divide after pandemic, pre-pandemic era and post-pandemic era, then we will find that there is a rupture, and we will say that normal and neo-normal. And this rupture is so great that we cannot return to normal. We cannot go to distance education. We have to be online. And in view of the National Education Policy 2020, now it is being possible to do dual degree is possible. So in that case, we may opt for one regular course and other may be online course. That is very important in a post-pandemic case. Everything has changed. We cannot, if we want to return to normal, we cannot return. Our computer friends has provided us so much technological expertise that every one of us who do not work on computers earlier, but during these 2 years, we are experts in computers. We are not shy away. We do not run away from computers, but we work on computers day and night in any field. Because now the rupture is so great, we have changed ourselves. We have changed our style of working. Earlier, when we have to check the manuscript, we used to check the thesis or research papers in printed form. Now, after pandemic, we have got 2 years of time. We are computer friendly. We can check, we can correct, we can do any modification in the manuscript, and also in case of chemistry, in complicated chemical structures, we can modify them on the computer screen itself. We do not need any artist or any other person, but we can do ourselves. That is the way now the era has changed. It is the post-pandemic era, and in which that the conference which has been organized at this university by our computer professors, Professor Shiva Satya and our director, Professor Ramaiya, and he is expert in organizing conferences. Earlier also he organized number of conferences and a number of programs on computer learning. A number of programs like Grammarly, I remember, 10 or 12 programs he organized for our young scientists and research scholars, which proved very useful. I attended some of them. They provided on the spot knowledge, and I hope that this conference has provided you the knowledge about the working of the computers, online learning, how to interact with the experts sitting outside, how to attend the class like a classroom, online class, how to question and answer the questions. That is the purpose of this online teaching and learning. I hope every one of you learned a lot, and from the feedback and from the report read by Professor Arna, I can assess that how much papers have been presented in 2 days, how it is possible that it is a difficult task to have such a tight schedule. And audience is full, all participants attended it, and from the feedback I can judge that everything was to the satisfaction of all concerned, that is including food, accommodation and all these things. So I am grateful to you for inviting me here and giving a chance to interact with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Also for indicating the fact, absolutely, you're absolutely correct in stating that the pandemic has marked us in a very permanent manner, and that from now onwards we will be talking about the pre and the post-pandemic era, particularly when it comes to technology-enabled teaching and learning practices. It is always a delight to have you amongst us, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot for your encouragement. And now I would like to invite Professor S. Gauri, Honorable Vice Chancellor, University of Madras, Chennai, our chief guest, for his valedictory address. He is currently Vice Chancellor, University of Madras, a postdoctoral fellow of Nanyang Technological University, Singapore. He has teaching experience of over 40 years and was also serving as a director EMMRC at Anna University. He was also an honorary professor in the Department of Manufacturing Engineering at the Varsity, a visiting professor at University of Applied Sciences, Germany, and visiting research fellow at Nanyang Technological University, Singapore. He has 94 research papers to his credit, authored 5 books, has executed 18 research projects worth 25 crores, and holds 3 patents in his name. Sir, we are privileged to have you amidst us and really look forward to your address.
Good evening to every one of you. It is a really happy occasion and great privilege, as I assume, to give the valedictory address as the chairman of the conference and chief guest for the international conference on a technology-enabled ODL for education in the context of the national education policy. I wholeheartedly thank my friend, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Pondicherry University, Professor Gurmeet Singh, and Professor C.K. Ramaya, the organizer of the conference, for having invited me. And truly I was interested to participate in a physical mode in today's program. Because of the official commitment today as well as tomorrow, we have the biennial Senate meeting in the university. I'm unable to move out of the headquarters. That's why I got the excuse and permission from Professor Ramaya. Let me come to online. Maybe more appropriate for the conference, which is about the online and distance learning. Why can't I deliver my speech in online at a distance of more than 200 kilometers from Pondicherry? Listening to the deliberations of the papers, what was discussed for the past 2 days, and the feedback from the participants, I understand that Professor C.K. Ramaya has added one more color figure in his cap, what he has been continuously practicing and doing it. Because I know him as a mentor for the MRC of Pondicherry University. And when I was a director of the Pondicherry MRC at Anna University, and I had many interactions with the team. Really, it's very soft at the same time dynamic. So it is a secret of the success is because of C.K. Ramaya and his team. And we are very glad to inform you that the enrollment for the online education, the 2022 has gone up to 170% in the country, and distance learning has up to around 42%. This is data given by Wikipedia. So this is overwhelming response. Maybe because of the influence or the blessings, I used to say always the blessings in disguise of the COVID lockdown period, where we had to depend on this online mode of learning and teaching, without which there was no other hope. And now still that is being practiced as in a blended mode. Even our distance education, the Institute of Distance Education, the Madras University, some of the lectures, the laboratories are being practiced like this in blended mode. So at that time we are finding that this online mode is a great blessing for us. So what I want to say about this is, it is good to know that online education is a growing success and that it is no longer the medium of the future but of the present. But in a country where the digital divide between the privileged and the deprived is massive, physical education remains critical. Online education, therefore, should be a significant add-on, but not a full-blown substitute. I used to always tell my students or my faculty members during my lectures that Google cannot replace gurus. So you cannot depend on everything on Google, because the gurus, as per the system, they are the real guiding lights. Like that, even though we depend on online education, the regular mode of education, teaching, the physical classrooms cannot be avoided. But this knowledge will be another advantage for a huge mass, or sometimes very special lectures by the experts or the scientists may not be easily available to many students. This online education becomes a blessing. When I look at my days in MRC, I had produced 7 MOOCs courses, massive open online courses, 7 MOOCs courses, and more than 1,542 e-models for direct from television, DDE models like this. So at that time we were looking for who will listen, who will be taking these courses like that. But with COVID lockdown and you have this breakdown, now that has got its own value and it is being practiced everywhere. So this is the time where everyone has understood this is one of the important mode of or the medium of learning as well as in teaching. And the higher education institutions are not fully equipped to offer quality online education. That is the problem. Not all education institutions. So one of the requirements as made by the UGC to approve institutions to offer the online courses is that every institution should have developed its own learning resources that they are offering to online. So you should not depend on the other record lectures or from other sources. It is better to use your own faculty members, own scientists, own resources to prepare these key models. That's what we are doing here. I understand Pondicherry University is also doing the similar thing. However, online education needs to be promoted, and therefore many institutions are applying for it to UGC for getting permission, even to CEC, Consortium for Education Communication, which is the relating body of all the MMRCs. However, some are outsourcing this activity, taking learning materials from other sources, whereas the UGC regulation says the online education should not be offered in franchise mode or outsourced. Therefore, higher education institutions should expand collaborations. At present, the collaborations between the public funded institutions and that should grow up. Online education science is a big issue as every institution cannot develop their own virtual laboratories. In I remember in the year 2004, with the European Union funded project, when I was the head of the manufacturing department of College of Business, DDE and my university, we developed a project, we completed a project on virtual laboratories on mechatronics for remote access. Today we talk about this Google Meet or Zoom or other type of video conferencing facilities. But in 2004, 2005 at that time, no one could imagine such a video conferencing. So we used this Java protocols at that time and we linked through the net, the high bandwidth net, to the laboratories in Germany, the place called Wurzburg, and another is Madrid's, our university called Karol's too. and to my lab in Madras in Anna University. So our students can virtually enter a robotic lab, and in Chennai in Anna University they do the programming, and for the programming in a real-time mode, the robots or other type of CNC machines will be operated either in Germany or in this Madrid, Spain University lab. So this was the virtual laboratories where the equipment, the robots or the CNC machines were there and deactivated by applying the program to a virtual mode. So this is the real laboratory classes. So like this, the laboratory classes should be developed for this, the HC code generations or other type of computer programming should be made, and literally depend on the mechatronics. So when you go for the laboratories to be offered this online mode, naturally we should go for mechatronics, related computer programming, other type of electronic gadgets, softwares and hardwares like this. And I am sure that with this type of this conferences, everybody will come to know what are the applications, what are the benefits of this online digital learning education mode, which will be an added advantage to the regular mode of learning and teaching as well. So with this, I wish that this type of conferences should be encouraged. I wholeheartedly appreciate the team in the Pondicherry University, headed by Professor C.K. Ramaya, has done a very good project. I should say so. With very eminent speakers and other type of added content. The content is more important. I went through the titles. It is very really interesting. As well as they have shared their experience, their project, what they completed. This is the important thing, not like just a paper alone. So with this, I wish that this will be carried in future, so that this content, e-content models should be enriched with the newness, new programming, new methods, how the learning models can be made more interesting as well as interactive. That is very important. And by which the quality of learning as well as teaching will be enhanced. Wish all the best. Thank you.
I now invite the guest of honor, Reverend Father Dr. Joji Reddy, for his valedictory address. He is the principal of Loyola Academy since 1991, where he has served under various key positions. He holds an MBA from University of Madras, PhD in biotechnology, and has done postdoctoral studies in the US. He has numerous significant publications in reputed journals in biotechnology and has been the recipient of the Rashtriya Gaurav Award by India International Friendship Society. Sir, we are eager to listen to your experiences as a teacher and an administrator.
Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor S. Gauri Garu, guest on the stage on the days, Professor K. Taranikarusu, Professor Rajiv Jain, OSD, CNCR, Pondicherry University, Professor S. Shivasatya, Joint Organizing Secretary and Head Department of Computer Science, Pondicherry University, Professor C. Aruna, Head Department of Sociology, Pondicherry University, Professor Vijay Kumar Garu, Professor C.K. Ramaya Garu, Organizing Secretary and Director, Directorate of Distant Education, Pondicherry University, dear other professors, deans, HODs, dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, good evening to each and every one of you. It seems a teacher was standing with a cane at the gate to supervise the latecomers. And one of the students was late, and the teacher demanded why the student was late. Then the student seemed to have said, "Sir, at home, my father and mother are fighting. If they are fighting at home, what have you got to do, and why should you be late?" Then the student seemed to have said, "Sir, how do you expect me to come when one slipper of mine is in father's hand and another slipper of mine is in mother's hand?" This is the age we live in. Promises can never take the place of performance. Fine words can never replace fine deeds. Our mind is the most powerful energy we think. If you are a physics student, you know very well, you can calculate what could be the speed of light. The speed of light travels with 1,86,000 miles per second. 1,86,000 miles per second. And if you are going to devise a rocket with that speed, it takes 2 minutes, just 2 minutes to reach the moon. And it takes 4 minutes to reach the sun. It takes 4 leap years. 4 leap years in the sense 4 into 4 years. It will be almost touching the border of our galaxy. And again 32 leap years, it will be crossing the borders of this galaxy. And likewise, how many galaxies are there in this universe? Billions and billions and billions of galaxies are there in this universe. And when we compare to those galaxies, where are we? We are not even a dot, not even a speck on the seashore. And we talk about technology. Until and unless we devise such technology, we can't be reaching the galaxies or the nearest stars or the galaxies behind. Until and unless we have such technology, present digital technology, what we call, even if you are going to invent, but that is not going to be sufficient. In future, still further, you need to travel. You need to travel to unravel the mind. Mind is the most powerful energy compared to light, even even it travels more than the light. And such a technology we need to devise. And if at all, if we have to devise, you need to prepare yourself. Intellectual education influences the head. Value-based education influences the heart. Skill-based education influences your community. But technological education influences the country. In order to make economy of the country a super economy. But dear friends, we are here last 2 days onwards. Lot of things have been discussed about technology. How the technology is going to be useful in the institution. We know very well, an institution is nothing but like a fountain of water, where many people come to sip that water. And what is this water? This water is nothing but knowledge. And most of you say, knowledge is the power. But knowledge is not the power. Knowledge becomes power when you convert this knowledge into action. And that action, when it is converted into wisdom, then only you can say knowledge is power. And when we grasp knowledge, it's only at superfluous level. It will not enter into our mind, our heart, or into our skills. That's what is happening. These days, any institution, when they recruit the students, right from admission to employability, the teacher should be able to work with them or to make them to be the entrepreneurs. Until and unless we are going to have such technology, we can't be making up our students to reach their unreachable stars. We have augmented technology, we have disruptive technologies, we have geophysics technology, different types of technologies are there. And you must have spoken, the resource persons must have spoken many technologies. But ultimately, what do we need? What I need? Technology along with the skill. I need to know how to apply my technology. Whatever the technology I learn, I need to know how to apply using my brains. If I do not know how to use the technology, then I would be a failure. And we know very well, in India, so many students are there. So many pursued their PhDs. But ultimately, when the question of job competency comes into the line, how many of them are really getting into the jobs? How many PhDs are getting there? No, how many PhDs are getting jobs? Hardly few. Hardly few. Why? Because we are unable to transform and transcend the knowledge that we have into skill, and from that skill into a lifeline. This is what the big problem. That's why after pandemic, post-pandemic, so through this visual classrooms, through this technology, lot has been changed. Many things have been changed. And this change should bring in a transformation within myself. And then only we can become successful. Who is a successful person? A successful person is the one who can overcome all the problems, whatever he faces. And it is a progressive realization, step-by-step realization. And only when you have that progressive realization, only when you have that progressive, optimistic attitude, then only we can think of transforming the society. And each and every one of us has the responsibility and accountability as per the NEP. We have the 5 pillars in NEP: equity, access, inclusiveness, responsibility and accountability. Every individual should aim at that sort of accountability. Yes, my parent has given me this responsibility. I promised to my parent, I promised to my parent that I would be successful. I promised to myself that I would be successful. I promised to my teacher that I would be successful. I promised to the community that I would be successful. But promises should never go waste when we make some promises. We need to be serious people. We need to be responsible people. We need to be accountable people. And only when we have this seriousness, only when we have this accountability, then we shine. We shine like the stars. And then we go for inventing. And then we go for researching. The real research will have a life. And the real research will have a life only when we do it, our activities with accountability. I am so happy that such an elite seminar, international seminar, has been organized by Professor Ramaya Garu and his associates. It's a beautiful thing, beautiful platform provided. Every such seminar should generate only ideas. And that idea should be able to transform us to transcend beyond our levels. And that should be our immediate task. And if at all, if you have to get into this immediate task, everything that you have learnt in this seminar, you should be able to apply in your day-to-day activity. So thank you for calling me over here. My message for you is be responsible and be accountable and try to live a beautiful life and a happy life, because life is to live, love, learn and leave a legacy like Mother Teresa or Mahatma Gandhi. God bless you. Thank you.
We also have Professor Vijay Kumar from Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi amidst us. And I would now like to request Sir to address this gathering.
I have already addressed the gathering yesterday as a keynote address, but I have loved to be here because the first time I'm meeting Father Reddy. Others, Tirumar Karsu and Professor Rajiv Jain, I've already met them many times because I happen to be a visitor's nominee to the selection committees in Pondicherry University, so I have often come. But very interestingly, I have never seen the seminar hall, though I have stayed in this guest house. This is the first time I have entered the seminar hall, and other places also. And another place where I have never been to, always whenever I used to come out of the gate, I used to see Pondicherry Engineering College. Now it is called Pondicherry Technological University. Today I got the opportunity, they called me for a lecture, I went there also. So I would like to thank Professor Ramaya also, a very hard-working person, professor from your Pondicherry University. And I know Tirumara Karsu and Professor Rajiv Jain have been working very hard, and they have brought very good teachers to the Pondicherry University, and definitely it is going to grow with time. My thanks to our Professor Gurmeet Singh ji, though he is not here today, but a very good Vice Chancellor who has really transformed this university to a different level altogether. And thanks to Professor Chitralekha and Professor Sivasatya, I have been interacting with them more often, and they are trying to bring their department, the computer science department, to a greater heights. So that is there. It's always been glad to be in Pondicherry University, and I will always look forward to come again to this Pondicherry University. Though I have been born and brought up in Delhi, I am also a Tamilian who comes from North Arcot districts in Tamil Nadu. But being born and brought up in Delhi, I come less frequently to this place, but after associating myself with Pondicherry University, I have been coming to this place. Now, as Father has told you, and even yesterday also he told, it's the wisdom that matters and not knowledge. Knowledge has no meaning unless it is put into action. That's why my last statement would be wise and don't be otherwise. That will always take you ahead. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for traveling all the way from New Delhi to be a part of this conference and for your words of encouragement. They mean a lot to us. I would now invite Professor Satya to propose vote of thanks.
So, good evening, one and all present here. Respected Director, SCIRR, Professor Taradikarasu, Director Culture, Professor Rajiv Jain, respected Director, Chief Guest of today, today's valedictory section, Professor S. Gauri, Vice Chancellor of the University of Madras, our guest of honor, Father Dr. L. Joji Reddy, Principal Loyola Academy, Secunderabad, respected Director Professor Ramaya, Director DDE, respected Dean of School of Engineering and Technology, Professor T. Chitralekha, Dean of various schools, heads of departments, distinguished keynote speaker Professor Vijay Kumar, who has also agreed to be the guest of honor today for this valedictory session, professors, scholars and learned participants. I deem it my privilege to deliver the vote of thanks for the valedictory session of this 2 days international conference organized by DDE and the Department of Computer Science. The joint collaboration between DDE and Computer Science to organize a conference was mooted out by the Director DDE, Professor Ramaya, and we readily accepted the proposal. Since then, both the teams have been putting in their heart and soul, of course, brains, in shaping this conference to this form, and today we are able to feel the air of success flowing past us. Many, many thanks for the funding and organizational support rendered by DDE. This success is not possible without the unstinted and effortless contributions of numerous personalities, both on and off the conference stage. I would like to place on record my deep sense of gratitude and appreciation to each and every one of them who played a significant role to bring this conference to light. At the outset, I thank our beloved Vice Chancellor, Professor Gurmeet Singh, for his positive encouragement and continued support to organize the conference, though he was not able to be present for this conference and grace the event. Grace the event through his usual words of encouragement, positive gesture, and sense of humor was what we missed during the much-awaited inaugural address. But our sincere thanks to our Vice Chancellor, sir, for his support and blessing through online and distance mode, this being a technology-assisted ODL conference. So, I profusely thank our directors for their gracious presence and support for the conduct of this conference as always, because whenever we approach them for anything productive, they never said no. My heartfelt thanks to Professor S. Gauri, Vice Chancellor of the University of Madras, for accepting to deliver the valedictory address, and special thanks to Father Dr. Joji Reddy for consenting to be the guest of honor for this event. Thank you, sir. Great beginnings have great ends. The conference had a great beginning with the motivational talk of Professor K. Sankar Narayana Swamy, Director, NIT Puducherry. He was really very kind enough to accept our invitation at the 11th hour. And we profusely thank him for his kind gesture and his excellent address to kickstart the conference. On behalf of the organizing committee, I extend my sincere thanks and many appreciations to the keynote speakers, Dr. Chitra Balakrishna, Milton Keynes Open University, United Kingdom, Professor Venkat Shastri, Cranfield University, UK, Professor G. Akila, Director, NIT Trichy, Professor P. Shanti Telagam, NIT Suratkal, Professor T.V. Vijay Kumar, JNU, Professor Chellapirmal, Pondicherry University, who have delivered the best of the best and added life and value to this conference, kindling newer dimensions and pathways for a better ODL tomorrow. I thank our International Advisory Committee members for accepting our request and guiding us through the entire process. My sincere thanks to all the chairpersons of the conference for chairing the sessions, Father Dr. Praveen Durai, Father Dr. Alex, Dr. Kanishka, Professor Kirutika, Father Joy Rodriguez, Dr. V. Prasanna Venkatesan, Dr. M.S. Raghunathan, Our sincere appreciations for their keen observation, meticulous time management, and constructive feedbacks. I wholeheartedly thank all the rapporteurs of the various sessions, Dr. S.K.V. Jayakumar, Dr. M. Nandini, Dr. Reshmi, Dr. S.L. Jayalakshmi, and Dr. Krishna Priya for their patient listening and reporting the proceedings of the sessions. Special mention to the Rapporteur General, Professor C. Aruna, for accepting our request to be the Rapporteur General and consolidating the entire proceedings of the 2 days conference. Thank you, ma'am. A big thanks to Professor Ramaya DDE for having trust in us and choosing us to be his partner in the conduct of this conference. Thank you, sir. Whenever we approached him, he used to tell, leave it to me. I will take care, no problem, ma'am. So these positive words always made us put extra effort to realize every goal. Had he not taken care of the funding and the overall coordination, mentoring, and timely advices, this is not possible. He personally went through each and every research article submitted by the participants before finalizing the decision to publish. Thank you for aiding us through the sea of uncertainties and dynamisms in the right direction and pulling us to the shore of success. Thank you, sir. A deep sense of gratitude to the Dean of School of Engineering, Professor T. Chitralekha, who equally toiled with us, not as a dean but as a fellow colleague throughout the journey in realizing our dreams of organizing this conference successfully along with DDE. Her contributions in terms of bringing excellent resource persons cannot be undermined, cannot be forgotten. A sincere thanks to the entire DDE family, the Deputy, especially the Deputy Registrar, Lieutenant Commander Rajkumar, Assistant Director Dr. Arvind Gupta, Dr. Umashri, Dr. Punita, Dr. Nizamuddin, academic coordinators, Dr. Madhavi Lata, Ms. Nivedita, Ms. Sunita, and all other DDE officers and staffs who have travelled all along with us to hoist the conference flag high. Special thanks to Dr. Umashri, who chivied us all along for editing and bringing out the proceedings. That's actually required at times, ma'am, and thank you so much, ma'am. Appreciations and thanks to Dr. Punita for the wonderful program coordination. Special thanks to Dr. Arvind Gupta and his team, who were responsible for the excellent lunches and dinner that we relished on both days of the conference. Thank you, sir. Just like every stone of a building has the touch of the mason, every single entity of this conference, be it conceptualizing the theme and title of the conference, formulating the tracks, inviting papers from scholars, critically reviewing the received papers, communicating to the participants, editing and formatting the accepted papers, and scheduling the tracks. A long list to go, in fact, definitely has a teamwork of the Department of Computer Science etched onto it. So a simple thanks will not suffice the relentless and altruistic efforts of our team. The cooperation, teamwork, and end-to-end contribution of each and every member is remarkably great. A big round of applause is due to them. My special recognition and appreciations are due to Dr. Sunita for being a great pillar of support in every facet of this conference. My profound thanks to the whole editorial committee headed by Dr. Sunita, Dr. Krishna Priya, and Dr. Jayalakshmi, and research scholars who have put in their heart and soul to bring out the proceedings of the conference. And special mention to Sophie and Pratiksha for formatting the entire content in the required format. Special thanks to the website committee, Dr. K.S. Kupuswamy and Mr. Satish for the design and maintenance of the ICTOODLE website. Thank you, sir. I thank Dr. Sujata and team for coordinating the cultural events, which was a great visual retreat to the audience yesterday. Thanks to the various subcommittee heads and members, Dr. Ravi, Dr. Shanti Bala, Dr. Satya, Dr. Venkataman, Dr. Suresh Joseph, Dr. Supinder Singh, Mr. Technical Assistants, Mr. Suresh, Mr. Jay Ganesh for all-round support and cooperation. Appreciations are due to Dr. Nizamuddin for the beautiful calligraphic writing on the certificate given to the participants. Thank you, sir. Many thanks to the authors of the papers from various disciplines and institutions across the length and breadth of the country, because we had participants from Jammu to Kanyakumari, so who have put in their best efforts and published their valuable research contributions with us. Without them, no conference could be conducted. We thank all the conference participants for going an extra mile and attending the conference and creating an ambience for effective knowledge transfer. I place on records my thanks to the generous contribution of this conference, DRDO and McGraw-Hill Publishers for financially supporting us in this venture. A conference of this magnitude is not possible without the support of the administration. We render our due gratitude to our registrar, finance officer, all DRs and ARs and other statutory officers, convention center staff and guest house staff for supporting us throughout the mega event. Any event has to reach the masses. So this was made possible to the press committee comprising of Professor Clement, Lieutenant Commander Rajkumar and Professor Ravi. Thank you, sirs. Special thanks to our PRO, Mr. Mahesh and press for publicizing the instant happenings of the conference in a big way through various social media. The extended support rendered by the faculty of other departments, especially the press team led by Professor Clement Luthers, the reportering team led by Professor C. Aruna, comparing by Dr. Ritu Tyagi, are very commendable and need special mention for the success of this conference. Our deep sense of gratitude to the heads and technical staffs of the computer center, to the head and technical staff of the computer center, electrical wing, engineering wing, AMRC for the extensive support rendered to organize the conference in a blended mood. Thanks to our fellow colleagues from our department, other departments who have always been, who has always shared our joy and success in all our endeavors. Last but not the least, our major contributors, not financial contributors, our knowledge contributors. So, our research scholars and students who have the motivation and strength triggering new aspects of teaching learning. So, I thank them profusely for their constant and scintillating demands and triggers and also shouldering our responsibilities to a great extent for the conduct of this conference. Finally, the good thing about a bad thing and the bad thing about a good thing is that both ends. We certainly would have had some shortcomings, but the enthusiastic and overwhelming participation of the entire team and the participants has overshadowed all the negativities, only highlighting the positive contents leading to a success story. Thanks. If at all I haven't mentioned any individual or any personality, it's not intentional, so my apologies for that. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, Professor Sivasatya, for your very detailed and excellent vote of thanks. And I'm sure you haven't missed even a single entity who was part of this conference.